A while back, I made a promise. Someday I'll make a video about this whole messy debacle. So today I intend to make good on that promise. Here we go. This line is weird. It's not a border, but I guess it kind of is. It divides something. If it's Monday evening and you fly from Hawaii to New Zealand, you'll cross into Tuesday evening and then back into Monday evening and then back into Tuesday evening. And because you've been flying for a while, now it's probably Wednesday morning. You just jumped from Monday to Wednesday on a 9-hour flight. Better yet, jump in your boat on a Tuesday afternoon and go a few hundred kilometers south, and suddenly you're watching the sunset on a Monday because you drove south in your boat. Wait, what? So I want to understand this line. So naturally, the first thing I do is go into After Effects and try to map it out. As I scoured the internet for good data on this, I realized that everyone's international dateline is slightly different, from Google Maps to the CIA Factbook to the Pacific Island Ocean Observing System, which is an organization that has the elegant acronym of PACEUs. Anyway, I spent the day scraping all the data I could and trying to map this line. Looks like it's 195 miles, or around 300 kilometers. That's a huge difference. There are entire islands with people that Google says are on one side and PACEUs say are on the other. Who's right here? Before we settle that, I want to dig into what this line even is and why it looks the way it does. Okay, so this whole crossing a line and passing over a day and going back in time and all of that is a little bit hard for, I know, my brain to get around. And I imagine that a lot of you came to this video hoping that you will leave this video with a firm grasp of what the international dateline is. So I'm going to delve in and explain it the best I can. First, let's look at the Earth from top down. So we're looking at the Earth from above, like top down. Here's Great Britain over here. And of course, we've got our beautiful sun shining light onto our Earth, which gives us day and night. Land that is rotating into this light is seeing a sunrise. Land that is transitioning out of this light is seeing a sunset. And it's the relationship to this light that we measure our time with noon being the point where we are right smack dab in the middle of the sun's light. So right now it's noon in Florida. Okay, you already know this, but I'm setting it up here because it helps the dateline make sense. Let's go back to Britain, which is upside down right now because remember, we're looking down on the globe, like we're looking down at the North Pole. Also, this circle is pretty sloppy. Let's clean it up and make it a nice square so you can keep your eye on it. It's important because all time is measured from here, technically in a little observatory called Greenwich. So let's say here in London, it is the middle of the day on a Monday. Okay, so it's noon on a Monday. The sun is shining right on London. So let's freeze time and look what's happening a few thousand kilometers east of here. In the middle of Russia, it's 6 p.m. The sun is setting. It's still Monday, but the sun is setting on Monday. At this same moment, frozen in time, over here in East Asia, we've got China and there's Japan. It's still noon in London, remember that, but it's late over here. The sun has gone down, it's 9 p.m. in Japan. It's still Monday, it's just late. The sun went down hours ago. These people are finishing Monday. It's like the middle of the night on Monday. It's noon in London. Let's zoom out and realize that it's Monday all around the world. The more west you go from London, it is actually earlier on Monday. East of London, it's late on a Monday night, like we just saw. It's later and later the more east you go. This is the international dateline. It divides whether or not it's late on a Monday night or early on a Monday morning. Now let's press play on the globe and watch it rotate into a new day. Remember that these guys right here are like at 11 p.m., basically midnight. They're about to start Tuesday. I'll keep Monday as this orange circle, and I'll use green for Tuesday. Okay, press play. Okay, stop. Zoom in. Here in the middle of the Pacific, it's almost 11 a.m. on Tuesday, right? You're 12 hours ahead of Greenwich Mean Time in London. Go right over this line and you'll still be around 11 a.m. The sun is still shining in the same way, but now you are 12 hours behind Greenwich Mean Time. But it's still Monday. You're 12 hours behind Greenwich. It hasn't passed into a new day yet. And that's how you're able to cross this line and go back a day or forward a day, even though you only go a few hundred kilometers. Okay, I'm sure you're tired of looking at this top-down globe. It's kind of disorienting and not super intuitive, so let's see what this looks like on a map, on a regular old map. Here we are in the same exact scenario. It's around 11 a.m. right here, and yet it's Tuesday here and Monday over here. I'm going to call this side, which is later than London's time, it's east of London, the Tuesday side. And I'm going to call this side, which is behind London or west of London, the Monday side. I'll just use that. That's my own little terminology. I'm going to start using that. And no one else uses it like that, but I'm just going to for the rest of this video, okay? I'm interrupting all of this conceptual, non-intuitive stuff for a little intermission. I want you to just look at this for a second. There are a bunch of beautiful islands in the Pacific. This one's called Aitutaki. That's really what it's called. That was my best accent. Just remember that the international dateline runs through some of the most beautiful ocean in the world, and it's worth just looking at it for a second. So let's keep going on this question of why it's different on every map. Why does this line look so messed up? And what's with this notch? And why can't anyone agree on what it should look like? This is the part that I knew nothing about, and it's fascinating. Technically, according to our little conceptual model that we just did, the line should just be like this. A straight line that's on the exact opposite side of the world as Greenwich. Meaning, if Greenwich is 0, this would be the 180th meridian. But, as I've said many times before, nature isn't super good at straight lines. So instead, it looks like this. It starts out following the 180th meridian, as it should. Then it splits off right here to make sure that this Russian island and then the very eastern tip of Russia don't get sliced in two to become part of different days. As it accommodates Russia, it passes right here between Russia and Alaska. If you zoom in, you'll see that it passes right through these two islands. These islands are just a few kilometers away from each other. The sun sets at the same time on both these islands. They're right next to each other. The difference is the sun is setting on a Tuesday here and on a Monday here. After Russia, the line heads back west to meet up with the 180th, but it passes it in order to keep all of these islands on this side because they belong to Alaska. This notch, it goes all the way over to accommodate this island of Alaska, which is this tiny outpost of 21 people. It looks like the most western part of the United States, but really because it's on the other side of the 180th meridian, everything left of this line is actually in the eastern hemisphere. So this is technically the easternmost part of the US, but whatever, it doesn't really matter. These are all fake lines anyway. Okay, so we've zigzagged back and forth, crossing the 180th meridian a few times to accommodate Russia and the United States. It finally gets back onto the 180th and starts following it south for a really long time. Once it gets to the equator, we begin the big game of whose side are you on? All these islands in the Pacific, and there are loads of them, have to make a decision on whether or not they want to be the first people to start new days or the last people to end those days. We've got this big notch here, which basically exists to accommodate Kiribati, which is an island nation of just like 112,000 people. But this nation is spread across a huge swath of ocean, which spans an area greater than the continental United States. It's huge. It bounces around here to make sure that Kiribati is on the Eastern Hemisphere time zone with Australia and Asia, and then other nations like the Cook Islands are on the western part, like with the United States. It dips down here between Samoa, which is on the Tuesday side, and the islands of American Samoa, which are on the Monday side, same with the United States. From here, the line heads straight south, but not along the 180th like it should. Instead, it follows closer to like the 172nd. This is meant to allow a bunch of these island nations to stay in the Tuesday side so that they can be on the same date as big regional countries like Australia or New Zealand. Then, finally, it meets up with the 180th meridian and it follows it all the way down to Antarctica. Okay, so that is this line and why it exists and why it zigzags and all of its twists and turns. So our two important questions here. Why does it look so weird and why is it different on every map? The first one we can kind of answer pretty easily after seeing where the line goes, which is this line is really flexible. It's not a real border. It doesn't denote any land that somebody owns. A regular border is defined through conflict or negotiation, and it denotes the sovereignty of a country. You own this and I own that. That is what a normal border does. This doesn't do that. The date line is a decision that every country can make for itself. When they're in the Pacific, they can decide, oh, I want to be on the same date as Australia and Japan, or I want to be on the same date as Hawaii and the United States. That is a unilateral decision that no country has to negotiate with others to make.
The Pacific nation of Samoa has decided it would be better off if it observed a time zone closer to that of Australia and New Zealand. So it's declared it will switch to our side of the international dateline.
Before that big notch existed, half of Kiribati was in the Tuesday side and the other half was in the Monday side, which just made it really hard where it was like Friday on this side, and if people wanted to get in touch with people in their country, it was already Saturday on their side, and so they were off for the weekend. So they unilaterally decided in 1995 to just change the line and put the entire country on the Tuesday side. So every country decides how they want to do it, and because of that, it's changed dramatically over the years as countries just make their own decision on what date and time zone they want to be in. So now to my second question, and the big one that I was very curious about, which is who's right? After a day of fixating on this question and mapping and doing all this stuff on the computer, it all came down to this moment. You have these two versions of the notch that are different. The black one is Google Maps. This is how Google Maps displays it on all of their different platforms. And this yellow one is from that PACI, the Pacific Observer something, I don't really remember, but it's like a big authority for the Pacific Ocean. Remember that this is the Monday side and this is the Tuesday side. Same time, different dates. As I zoomed around this, I saw these islands. Google says that these islands are on the Tuesday side, the 1 day ahead side, whereas PACI says that these are on the Monday side, meaning the 1 day behind side. I checked the official time zone for every one of these islands and discovered that they all belong to the Cook Islands, which is a set of islands connected to New Zealand, but that is on GMT minus 10, meaning it's 10 hours behind GMT, not a bunch of hours in front of GMT. In short, all of these islands are on the Monday side. PACI has it right, and Google Maps has it wrong? Wait, what? Google Maps has something wrong? Bit of an existential crisis I've been going through the past couple of days. I want to be wrong on this. In fact, if somebody comments and points out a flaw in my logic or my analysis here, I will be grateful for that, because this is something that, I have a really deep appreciation for Google Maps and all of the wonderful mapping that they do, but I think they got this wrong. Somebody prove me wrong, please. And if not, my worldview has just shifted slightly. But here's the thing. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. The fact that Google Maps didn't painstakingly weave its line through all of these islands is kind of an indication that these borders, these fake borders, these lines don't actually do anything besides describe the preference on how different countries want to measure their time. It doesn't give anyone extra land, it doesn't give anyone extra waters or minerals or any of the stuff that usually make lines really important. In this case, we're describing a preference. And so I'm sure that these mapping organizations haven't cared too much about getting the shape perfectly in this vast swath of ocean that is mostly uninhabited. That's the international dateline. I want to hear thoughts and feedback from everyone, and thank you for watching. So I've been home a lot lately. You probably have been too. And I've been watching a lot of Netflix and a lot of other stuff. And one thing I realized is that there are a lot of shows and movies on Netflix that I don't have access to because I'm in the United States. Lord of the Rings, for example. That's where a VPN comes in. ExpressVPN specifically is the one I use. They're the sponsor of today's video. If you don't know what a VPN is, it is a service that allows you to encrypt your connection to the internet so that your data is secure and all of your connections and what you're looking at on the internet is secure. But it also allows you to route your connection through whatever country you want. So I'm sitting there on Netflix and I want to watch Lord of the Rings. Suddenly I can connect through Canada and now Lord of the Rings is available on Netflix. ExpressVPN allows you to expand your entertainment options while also keeping any work that you do online private and secure. So it's a great product. I've been using it for years, well before they came to me to sponsor a video. And because they sponsor this video, you can get 3 months of free service when you sign up for a yearly subscription if you go to expressvpn.com/JohnnyHarris. Go route your connection through the UK and watch Rick and Morty on Netflix. That's pretty cool. So anyway, expressvpn.com/JohnnyHarris. Thank you ExpressVPN for supporting this channel, and thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.